What's up, guys? Freedom Instigator here, empowering you to take initiative without the chains. So, how are you guys today? Everybody's good, I hope. So this video is going to be about emotional trauma, okay, and your mindset. So, emotional trauma can get trapped literally inside the body and manifest itself into physical issues, okay? So what that means is that all your emotional shit that you're not dealing with from the past can literally manifest itself into the body and become a disease or cancer, hypothyroidism, diabetes, all of these things. And you might be looking at me like I'm crazy, but do some research on what I'm saying. Don't just take my word for it. Go and do some research on this, you guys. This is an epidemic. And instead of, dealing with our emotional shit from our past, whether it's childhood stuff or all the way even to the womb. Yes, you heard that right, the womb. So from the womb all the way till from even yesterday, that shit adds up and it manifests itself into physical things. Just like I said, like cancer, hypothyroidism, diabetes, fibromyalgia, Hashimoto's, autoimmune diseases, all those things. So different emotions get trapped, or let's just call them memories, okay? So different memories get actually trapped in different parts of the body. So for instance, the feeling of grief, usually grief can mean not just the grief of, the loss of a loved one dying. It could mean, grief from a divorce that you still haven't mended or dealt with that trauma from, or, grief of your kid going off to college. That can cause a lot of grief as well. Or grief of losing your job, your dream job, that right there can cause a lot of grief. And grief usually manifests itself in the colon and in the lungs, which is essentially the entire immune system, right? So that right there will start to shut down the immune system over time, like chronic grief or chronic inflammation too. It'll cause inflammation, like the feeling of fear. And I don't just mean fear of flying or spiders or stuff like that. I mean actual fear of disappointing your loved ones or your family, or fear of going through a divorce, especially if it's your second or third divorce. Fear of losing a job, fear can manifest itself in all kinds of different ways. And sometimes it's from childhood and it actually becomes chronic and it comes all the way into adulthood. So, and this society, we don't really ever look inside of ourselves. There's a huge lack of self-awareness going on in the world, and that's kind of, in my opinion, why everybody's so offended by everything that everybody does, is because they're not looking internally at their own shit and humbling themselves and actually doing the self-work, okay? So we're just blaming each other for our unhappiness, or expecting others to make us happy, or putting our happiness in the hands of our spouse even, or putting our happiness in the spouse of our parents or our kids or whatever, but not putting the happiness on ourselves. It is not up to anyone else to make us happy. And it is definitely a choice to be sad, and it's a choice to be mad. It's a choice to have fear. It's a choice to have the grief. It's a choice to live in these emotions, okay? So the first step to getting rid of these trapped emotions is self-awareness. Self-awareness is key. So self-awareness is self-observation. So when you go, let's say for instance, an athlete with his coach. So usually a coach will make their athletes, their team members, go and look at video footage of themselves playing the sport, whether it's soccer or basketball or football or anything like that. They go and actually make them watch video footage of themselves doing the sport so that they can observe themselves, so they can observe all the things that they did wrong during the game, all the things that they did right and need to do more of. So we can't move forward until we take a look at ourselves. And it's really hard, you guys. I understand. It is one of the hardest things you will ever do in your life. I guarantee it. Going in and dealing with all of your shit, all of your past traumas, whether they were your fault or not. And, you know, like me, I was abused as a child. I was physically abused, mentally abused. I was sexually abused. So dealing with those emotional traumas was not at the top of my list, okay? I did not want to go into that closet. That's the closet of just skeletons. Like, I didn't want to go there because I wasn't, first of all, self-aware. I didn't have any tools. Nobody taught me that these things. I had to go and research myself. I had to go and read the books and do all the things and put myself out there and listen to podcasts and really try to find growth. Like, you have to, it's not going to just come to you. Like these things don't just come to you and all of a sudden, oh, I'm growing. Yeah. So you're either growing or you're dying, your spirit, right? So we want to be growing. And in order to grow, the first step is looking at yourself. I mean, that's the first step in AA too, is admitting you have a problem, right? So admitting that you have these things, like, don't you ever wonder why you react the way you do? Like, don't you ever think, why am I reacting like this? Like, why am I this upset about what that person said to me? Like, why is it affecting me this badly? Do you ever think of that? There's a reason for that. You obviously went through something somewhere, maybe even when you were in the womb, or it was passed down from, you know, generations. Like, you got to go and dig in there. You have to start finding the pieces and the puzzle pieces and putting them all together. Like, your spouse or your kids or whoever, your coworkers, your friends, your family members, they don't deserve your offendedness, if that's a word, your offendedness. Stop being freaking offended by everything that everybody does. There's a reason why you're so offended. We should not ever be offended. No one should ever be offended. It is a choice, literally a choice to be offended, okay? It's a choice to hang on to the emotional shit. It's a choice to be a victim to your disease. It's a choice to be a victim to your past emotional traumas that weren't your fault, but it is your responsibility to take action and to do something about it. So the first thing we do is what? Self-observe, self-awareness, look inside, stop blaming others. Second thing, meditation, you guys. Meditation is one of the greatest gifts ever given to us by God, literally. It's in the Bible. If you're an atheist, that's fine too. Like, meditation is a universal thing that we can all agree on that helps our bodies get rid of the emotional past, okay? And it's self-aware. Like, that's what it literally means, is to observe thyself, right? So that right there is huge. Like, if you don't know how to meditate and you think it's stupid, then I suggest you just stop watching this video right now. But meditation can be done very easily. It's completely free. There's hundreds and thousands of free guided meditation on YouTube. There's videos everywhere. You can Google how to do it. I mean, it's very, very simple. Now, it's not very easy in the beginning because your brain will constantly want to think of what you're going to have for dinner, and it's going to be really hard in the beginning to quiet your mind and you know, try to just reprogram your mind. I mean, you're reprogramming a lifetime of emotional shit, so it's going to take a while and it's not going to be easy at first, okay? But just start little by little. Start with just 15 minutes a day. That's it. Go to YouTube and or Google or whatever and find you know, meditation 101 if you don't know how. Like, meditation is going to change your life. I guarantee it. You start meditating 15 minutes every single day, it will change your life. I promise you, you will see a difference, even just the next day or even the same day, you guys. That's how powerful meditation is. Our subconscious minds are holding on to every single thing we've ever been through. Do you understand that? Let me say that again. Your subconscious mind is holding on to every single thing that you've been through, whether it's bad or good. Your conscious mind forgets what your subconscious remembers, okay? So we have to go into our subconscious mind diligently, actively, and intentionally reprogram the mind. Your brain is a muscle, okay? It needs to be exercised daily, just like your body does. It's a muscle. So just think of, you know, doing meditation as a bicep curl every day, okay? So you want to be doing this daily. Like, it's amazing. So here's a few things I want to recommend. There's an amazing book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, you should just look him up on YouTube and just watch everything that you possibly can that he does, because he's amazing, okay? He comes from a scientific space rather than a whimsical like opinion, okay? So which I love. I love that. So whether you're a believer in God or you're an atheist or agnostic or whatever it is, he comes from a very scientific space of what our thoughts and our brainwaves actually do, that can't really be argued with, okay? So it's a fact. So Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And also go to YouTube. Like, it's easy. Just go to YouTube and start typing in guided meditation or whatever, and start listening to things that you like and you don't like. You can even listen to meditation while you sleep, because that's when our subconscious mind is the most awake, and that's when the body is asleep. So we're trying to detach the body from the subconscious mind, if that makes sense. So your body is running the show right now. If you're dealing with emotional shit and you're sick, physically sick, that means your body's in control. And we need to put the mind back in control of that, okay? So your body's been running the show for years and years and years, so it's gonna take some time to reprogram the body too. So just be patient with yourself and really try to do this every day and be consistent and be patient, okay? It took a long time to get to where you are, and it's gonna take a while to get to a good place too. And you know, this is a forever journey. Just enjoy the journey. This isn't a journey that stops. Growing doesn't ever stop. It will forever be that way until we die. Hopefully that you're constantly trying to grow instead of just be stagnant, because nobody wants to be stagnant, because then you just are lame. Let's be real. If you're not growing, you're dying. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please share it with somebody who needs to hear it. Or, you know, if you like the video, like it, comment, ask questions. I'm always here to answer your questions. I love this. This is what I do. I love helping people, especially women with hypothyroidism. So if you like it, share it, comment, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.